Alright, good morning guys. Just want to give you guys a quick update video on what's expected of you and kind of go through what you guys have learned. I know we are doing a little bit of Khan Academy videos first. We're going to see how that goes. I just want to go over them today, spend some time today going over them so everyone's on the same page. You guys know, understand what you guys are doing, and kind of an explanation for the math in case you need that little extra help. This video here will be helping you on that. So the first thing we're going to talk about is for the 8th graders. You guys had your classwork on the Khan Academy videos for scatter plots. Now, the first thing you should have got from that was identifying the 3 types. We have 3 different types of scatter plots you will be looking at. The first one you'll be looking at is a positive one. I'm going to abbreviate POS. So on this chart, if you have the dots going across the chart in a upwards trend, and you can fit an arrow and have the majority of the dots around the arrow, we call this a positive correlation because all the dots are close together and they are going up. Now, how can this help you for your project? Well, in life, there's going to be a lot of times you take data where there's not going to be exactly everyone on this line right here. There's going to be people going around it, and we're going to take the average of them. And if the average is going up, then we call it a positive trend. Now, in the other case, where if we started off high and they started to trend low like this, that's a pretty nice zigzag right there. And if we take an arrow and the majority of the dots land on this arrow pointing down, we can call this a negative correlation. It's negative because it's going down. When everything goes down, you always feel sad, so we call it a negative correlation. The last one we're going to talk about of the 3 is when the data kind of appears and they're really random out and there's no real rhyme or reason why they're out here, and you can't put an arrow and have the majority of them on the line going up or the majority of the line going down. We call this a no correlation. So these are the 3 types of scatter plots you will be identifying. I want to go through that worksheet with you and show you what is needed, or how to do them, and really how to solve them, just in case you need help. So I'm going to go back to here to take this worksheet, and because I'm going to be drawing in it. Boom. So for this first one, I always ask myself, if I can draw an arrow, where would the majority of the dots be? And if it does, which direction is it pointing? So for this first one, let's use blue. So if I draw an arrow going up, are the majority of the points on the up arrow? The answer is no. There's not a lot of the arrows going there. What happens if I go down? Again, we have a lot of the dots over here and a lot of dots over here. So there is not enough on either one of them to call it a positive or negative. So we're going to call that a no correlation. On this next one, let's use our brush tool again. If I take an arrow and put it upwards, do the dots line up with the arrow? No. If I go down, do most of the dots lie on the arrow or near the arrow? I would say so. I'd say majority of the dots are around this arrow, except for this one down here. That's a little further out than the other ones, but the majority of them are on the arrow going down. And like we said before, if they are on the arrow that's going down, we can call this a negative correlation. Then the next one, if you look up on here, if we draw an arrow going up, a majority of the arrows on the up arrow, I'd say they're pretty dang close. Are they close going down? Not really. So if you know that the arrow is going up, the one that causes you to have most of the dots around the up arrow, then we're going to have a positive correlation. A positive correlation. The next one, if we draw our up arrow, oops, sorry about that. If we draw our up arrow, are most of them on there? I would say definitely. They're all pretty much right around there. So I would say that's definitely a positive correlation. Let's make that down here again. There you go, positive correlation. The next one, if we draw our up arrow, do we hit anything? Not really. But if we draw our down arrow, we pretty much hit every single dot. So if we hit almost every single dot with just a down arrow, down makes you feel sad, so we call that a negative correlation. Boom, negative correlation. Now this last one, if we're to take our arrow tool and we go up, do we hit any of the dots? Well, we hit kind of none of them. We have even amount on top, even amount on bottom. So that's really not correlated. Going down, yeah, we hit 2, but we have 4 nowhere near the arrow. So if it can't be up, it can't be down. What kind of correlation is it? A negative correlation. Too far. So that's the answers to our scatter plot worksheet here. I want to go over some more examples just to give you guys a broader range of what is expected of a scatter plot. So if I go back to here, let's look at a little bit of this. Let me zoom in for you guys so you can see a little bit better. So on this first one, it says the scatter plot below shows the average traffic volume and average vehicle speed of a certain freeway for 50 days in 1990. So if we look here, let's use, I guess that's purple. Let's use purple. So it says, which statement best describes the relationship between the average traffic volume and the average vehicle speed shown on the scatter plot? So before we even look at the answers, let's go through and see what we know about the chart. Well, first off, if we draw an up arrow, does that matter about anything? Does that tell us very much information? Not really, because it's not going to be a positive trend. But what happens if we draw our down arrow? Draw a down arrow, most of the dots, I would say, land on that down arrow or close to it. So knowing that it's going to be down, we know it's going to be a negative trend going on through here. So now let's read through the questions and let's see which ones has a negative trend. So it says, as traffic increases, vehicle speed increases. Well, is that true? It says that as you increase the speed going across here, this should increase. Well, does that make sense? No, because we have our downward trend. We're saying we have a negative trend here. So A cannot be our answer. It says as traffic volume increases, vehicle speed increases. Or decreases, I'm sorry. So average speed and average traffic volume. So as we're going across here, as we're increasing, our average speed will decrease. So far, that one sounds like a plausible answer. As traffic volume increases, vehicle speed increases at first, then decreases. So does our chart look like this? No, we can say that one is not one that we can pick. So as traffic volume increases, vehicle speed decreases at first, then increases. Do we see a chart like that again? No. So we just cancel that one out. So without even looking at the answers first, we already lowered it down to our answer being B. Now, the next question. Ms. Osha recorded the age and shoe size of each student in her physics physical education class. The graph shown below is her data. So the first thing we do, before we do anything else, let's see if we can find the trend of it. If we go up from here, do we have any data? No. If we go down, ooh, sorry about that line. If we go down, do we have any correlation? No. So we already know one thing, that there is no correlation in this graph here. So which of the following statements must be true? Positive trend? Nope. Negative trend? Nope. Shown constant trend? Nope. Graph shows no trend. That's the one we need. So even before we even read the question, we already know that, boom, D. Graph shows no correlation. Easy. So number 3 says, which graph best shows a positive correlation between the numbers of hours studied and the test scores? So let's just go through here and just identify them. Well, in this first one, we are going to have everything going up. So we have a positive correlation. The next one, we have a down correlation. Here, they're not going up or down. They're kind of staying constant as a straight line. And the same thing here. So knowing information about studying and taking test scores, the more you study, usually is the better your test score is. So knowing that bit of knowledge, which one would show a positive trend going for the number of hours? As you increase the number of hours, your test scores should go up. So it should increase. So which one of these has a positive correlation? If you said the letter A, you'd be correct. Letter A shows the positive trend of everything going up. Now number 4, the last one we go for you for an example problem, is saying using the scatter plot below, answer the following questions. Before we go even looking at the questions, let's see what trend our graph gives us. So we know that the number of tickets issued in the hundreds and the number of ticket written is what we're going to be looking at. So let's start off with our arrows. We draw a positive correlation, which is going up. You see most of them will lie on that up arrow. So if we draw a down arrow for negative correlation, it makes no correlation there. For the down arrow, nothing staying constant, so it has to be up. Now, before we can even read the question, let's just take a guess at what we're asking. So, more tickets written results in fewer tickets? No, because we're not having a downward trend, we're having an upward trend. There are 50 tickets issued every week. No, it's not constant. When there are 10 ticket writers, there will be 800 tickets issued. No, more like 600. And more ticket writers results in more tickets issued. I'd say this one, myself, because as we're going up in ticket writers, we're going up in number of tickets. Alright, so that is it for the 8th grade work. So now I want to go on to the 7th grade work. So for 7th grade, you guys watched a Khan Academy on the correlation of circles. So for this case, we're going to be looking at identifying parts of a circle. Now there's 3 parts of a circle that you guys were told about. You have the circle, the radius, and the diameter. So when we talk about the circle, we're going to talk about just the thing in the middle of the line here. So we can say, for this first one, What letter is in the middle of the circle? Well, we know this circle is going to be named letter B because that one's right dead center. Now the radius is defined as half the circle. So half the circle, we're going to find the lines that are half the circle. In this case, we can say that the line here, we can say line BC, because that's about half the circle. BC could be an answer. We can also say that line BE is half the circle. So you say line BE is a radius. And also that line BD could also be a solution to that radius. The diameter is going to be what the circle measures from one point of the circle to the other. So it's going to be the whole circle. The whole circle. So which line gives us the whole circle? Well, line EBD. Line EBD would be our circumference because it's the whole line. All right. So let's go on to number two. Number two, we have the circle would be letter G. The radius, you can pick either one of the three. We have three options you can pick from. Option 1 for radius. Option 2. And option 3. So we have 1, 2, and 3. You can pick whichever one you want for a radius. You can list all three if you want, or if you just list one, that's fine by me. So in this case, we have line GJ. I'm going to use GJ because it's the last color I had as my radius. The diameter is going to be from one end to the other. So if we go from line J, G, and K, would be our diameter. Last example I want to do for you guys before I show you guys a little quick activity you can do is number 3. Number 3, we have a circle. You know the circle letter is the one in the middle. This one is named circle F. You have, again, 3 choices of radius. You have FH as one, you have FG as one, and you have FJ as one. Now I'm going to use GF. That was a terrible G. Sorry about that, guys. GF as our radius. Now our diameter has to be the one that goes straight across our circle. So which line goes straight across our circle? We have H, F, and J. Now, if you guys want me to go over more problems, please email me about them. I feel like doing 3 of these problems is good enough for you guys to understand what's expected of you from the worksheet. But if you need more help, please feel free to email me about this. Now, I want to show you guys a little quick activity you can do. Because the other thing you guys learned about was circumference and this magical thing called pi. Now, pi is awesome. Because what pi does is it can measure the circle, any circle, with the same exact unit. Now, if you guys have anything that's round, so I have in front of me, I have a soda can in front of me, and what you can do, and I'll be posting a video of this on the YouTube as well, showing this activity in person, so you guys can see it happening. So if you guys want to try it at home and don't believe me that this works every time, you can try it and you can post your findings under that under the class page. Send me a comment, send me whatever, and you can see if your results end up the same exact way. So for me, I have a soda can. What you can do is take a marker or take a crayon, whatever you want, and mark the side of the can. Now with a ruler, you're going to want to first, I haven't typed this here, first circumference of your soda can. So first, I want to measure the circumference of your soda can. So in case of mine is about 3 inches. Now what I want you to do is take your ruler and lay it on the ground. Or lay it on your table, any surface that is flat and will allow you to roll it in a straight line without it falling over. So in this case, I'm going to put mine on my desk, and I'm going to gently roll it. Now, you guys need to make sure that you guys have enough space so it doesn't roll backwards, because if it rolls backwards, you might mess up your data. You want to roll it continuously. So when you start rolling it, you must roll it until that mark goes all the way around and goes back to the ruler. So if I take mine and I roll it, I'm going to start off at 0, and my ending point is about 9.1 inches. So 9.1 inches. So mine rolled 9.1 inches. So to find pi, all you have to do is take that 9.1 and divide it by 3. So 9.1 divided by 3, I get roughly 3.1. Which you know from that video yesterday, pi is 3.14. And I'd say this is pretty dang close to what I got as my answer. Now, you guys want to try this at your home. You can take different objects, anything that's circular, you can do this with. I have a PVC pipe with me as well. If I do this, I have a radius of 2.2 inches. So the PVC pipe is 2.2. And circumference equal to 2.2. And as I roll it, I get, these are in centimeters too, by the way. Let me correct that, centimeters. I get, reset my rolling. I get 7.1, 7 point, I'd say 7.2 or 3 actually. No, 7.1. 7.1, oops, sorry, rolled 7.1 centimeters. So again, to find pi, all I have to do is do 7.1, the distance it rolled, divided by the circumference, and I get, let me do the calculator real quick. 7.1 divided by 2.2 gives me, this time I was a little over, I was at 3.2, a little over. This is using a ruler that's not very accurate, but again, we're pretty close to what pi is equal to, 3.14. That's pretty dang close, being 0.1 off. That's pretty dang close. If you guys have any other questions, all I want to do today for you guys, show you guys a quick little examples for stuff, make sure we know our material, and get to kind of experience and understand what's going on here. If you have any other questions, please feel free to email me, set up a Google Hangout with me, send me a message in the document itself. Either way you can do to get in contact with me, I'll be more than happy to communicate back to you and try to get the information to you as soon as I possibly can. Also, please keep an eye on the YouTube channel, so anything comes up, I usually update this first. Also, if you're confused on stuff, always check back with the original worksheet underneath the class stream. So if you go back to your class, anytime I make changes, like for instance, the circle worksheet, this link was broken, so I posted a new one. Just keep yourself updated on it. If you have any other questions, feel free. Hopefully you guys have a great day. Hopefully this video is helpful to you guys, and have a good one. See ya.